Hello everyone, my name is Sam Webber. I'm an incident meteorologist trainee here on the Calf Canyon Hermit's Peak Fire, working with Southwest Team 5, and we're going to go ahead and jump right into our Wednesday Facebook weather update. We'll start out things how we've always done and take a look at satellite of the southern United States right over here, where you can see a little bit of the Southwest, New Mexico, and Arizona, Texas, and Oklahoma. You'll see our area is straight up clear. We have high pressure starting to build in. We've got a lot of dry air over our area right now, giving us that cloud-free picture that you're seeing from space this morning. You'll see a lot of this moisture over here, over southern Texas, some clouds streaming in off the Gulf Coast into South Texas and Louisiana. So we'll go here onto the next slide and show you our look at water vapor, which again is how much moisture the camera pointing from space thinks is over anywhere that it has its view on. So you'll see our area with all these deep oranges and bright reds and yellows representing that really dry air that we've been seeing now today and over the past few days, with all that moisture parked off to our southeast. So today, with this really dry air in place, we're going to continue to see hot temperatures. We are going to be approaching near records for this time of year today. We're also going to see humidities today over the fire area in the mid-single digits to low teens, so really dry. And we do have this, you can see this cloud skirting off, or this area of moisture skirting off just north of northeastern Colorado, and that's our storm system that brought us those really dry and windy conditions on those red flag warnings over the past couple of days. Now lifting out of the area, we are going to continue to see some breezy conditions over north central New Mexico today, but not nearly as windy as we've seen over the past few days. So still expecting some elevated fire weather conditions today, but again, not nearly as bad as what we just saw the past couple of days. And then looking at this area of moisture down here over Texas, you can see it streaming in out of the Gulf of Mexico. That's going to become our next weather maker here over the next several days, as we're going to start transitioning into more of a monsoon type pattern over the southwestern United States. So I'll forward this real quick, go to the next slide, and this is a recap of yesterday. Again, we had those red flag warning conditions in place yesterday, the day before, and even Sunday. So here's our fire putting up a lot of smoke, a big plume, and you can even see some of the heat there as we start to lose the sunlight, and our cameras need to switch over to infrared sensing, which senses heat coming from the earth. So you can see in the late morning and into the afternoon, that fire caught a hold of some mixed conifer fuels and aligned with those winds, those west-southwest to southwest winds that we were seeing yesterday, gusting upwards of 50 miles per hour up in that wilderness area, and really take off and burn really hot. And it had a really good push yesterday. So that's why you're seeing all that smoke yesterday and all that smoke on satellite. And even some of that heat that persisted into the overnight hours with that fire. So we saw similar results on Monday. Again, we had winds just as strong, if not stronger. So this was a very similar picture to what we were seeing Monday. We could see another potential day of this. Again, I mentioned we have really dry conditions in place. We still have those breezy winds. So if this fire can get a hold of one of those drainages and align right with the winds, we may be able to see another day of this. But again, this is burning up in the wilderness area, not really threatening any structures at this time. So pretty neat to see that there. So we'll move on. Here, we'll look at our 3-day forecast, and I mentioned we have some changing weather on the way. So looking at today, here we are in the star here, virtually nothing going on. We have a very weak boundary that pushed through, but that's not going to do much for us at all. It's just going to continue to drop our humidities. Our temperatures are going to be up, so not a whole lot going on today. But as we look into Thursday and Friday, you see this area of green pushing up from northern Mexico, West Texas, and a lot of New Mexico. As I said, we're going to have that weather pattern changing, bringing something more of a monsoon-like pattern. So we're going to see some chances for showers and thunderstorms tomorrow as we start to work some of that moisture in from the Gulf of Mexico. But the caveat with tomorrow is that all that moisture is going to be moving in at about 15,000 feet above the surface. So what that's going to mean for us is that we're going to stay dry below that layer of moisture, at least for the first half, if not even portions of the second half of the day, and really increase our chance for dry thunderstorm activity, which means we're going to see about 1/10 of an inch of rain or even less with those storms, dry lightning potential, and really gusty and erratic outflow winds tomorrow, potentially in excess of 50 miles per hour. So tomorrow could get a little bit messy with those winds, but as we move into Friday, we continue to pump some of that moisture up into our area, see more shower and thunderstorm coverage then, and we increase our chances for seeing some beneficial rain over the fire. So we'll go forward here and take a look at the trends that I just mentioned, how we're going to be dry today. This is our dew points, our measure of moisture in the atmosphere. See our dew points really low today, actually hitting a near bottom in the past 12 to 14 days. But as I mentioned, that moisture starts to increase very rapidly moving into tomorrow. You'll see our dew points jump way up and then stay up for the upcoming weekend and even into early and middle next week. You'll see that same trend in our humidities, where these darker oranges are our daytime minimum humidities, and these lighter orange are our overnight recoveries. Now again, you'll see today staying really dry, some of the driest that we've seen, but as we progress further and further into the weekend, you'll see minimum humidities rise during the afternoon, which means we're going to have less extreme burning conditions. We're going to be a little bit more moderated, actually a lot bit more moderated. And then overnight, our humidities are going to be able to recover substantially. So we're looking at upwards of 70% here, maybe pushing 80 here, and that's going to really slow down fire activity. And you'll see every single day as those those dew point values start increasing and head through the weekend, you can see every single day we look at our precipitation here, we're going to see chances every single day. Now Thursday, you see that bar is quite a bit lower, which means exactly what I just talked about with our dry thunderstorm activity. So it's going to produce very little rainfall Thursday if we do get a storm to pop over. But Friday, we jump those numbers way up. Saturday, kind of looking more like Thursday. And then Sunday being another big day where we could see some heavy rainfall potential and hopefully some beneficial rain over the fire. But also with that beneficial rain comes the threat for flash flooding. So that's kind of a negative side of this heavy rainfall. But again, keeping those precipitation chances up as we head into next week and set up more of this monsoon pattern. So if we go to the next slide here, we'll see exactly what I'm talking about in this monsoon type characteristic pattern. So this is a look at one of our weather models, and this is a highlight for tomorrow, for Thursday, and how the flow pattern is going to change. So we've been dealing over the past few days with more of a flow coming out of the southwest direction, bringing in really dry air from the rest of the southwest United States. Now as we head forward, we have this area of high pressure developing to our east, which is going to generate that clockwise rotation around this center, and that clockwise rotation is going to start to draw moisture out of the Gulf of Mexico and start pushing it up here into New Mexico and the rest of the southwest United States. See, with that flow pattern, you can see this is our dew points. As I just mentioned, the Gulf of Mexico here, you can see these purples and really dark blues and greens is really high moisture content flooding up into the southwest United States, seeing daily increases as we head forward. So this pattern, again, looks like it could stick around into early next week and potentially even further into that. However, this is just an initial push of what we characterize as the monsoon. We're not saying this is going to stay in this position, but this is going to help for the meantime. If this high pressure center starts to move further west, that's going to cut off that moisture transport from the Gulf of Mexico, and it's really going to cut off our moisture source across the southwest United States and put us more into a high pressure, dry condition kind of deal. So things are looking good so far right now, but it's a long monsoon season ahead. So we'll just need to keep on paying attention to that and where that pattern sets up. So we'll go forward here. We'll look at the potential for our precipitation amounts with those storms that I just mentioned on the daily. So you can see today here, virtually nothing across New Mexico. You can see a little bit of area here in southeastern New Mexico, as that's where some of that moisture is. But as we move into Thursday, tomorrow, see a lot more coverage of these lighter greens, even some little dark greens across the area. Now I mentioned these storms are going to be largely dry, so those light greens are only about 1/100th of an inch to 1/10th of an inch of precipitation, so not a lot at all. Moving into Friday though, as we get some more consistent moisture push into the area, we start filling in a lot more of that moisture in the lower levels, then we start to increase our chances for seeing much more beneficial precipitation. So you see now we've got more dark greens and even another shade of dark green. So that's anywhere from 1/10 to 1/4 to 1/4 to 1/2 an inch of precipitation. And then looking here through days 1 through 7, as I mentioned, we could see this pattern hold on quite a bit. And so if you took all of the precipitation forecast to come over the area from today to 7 days out, so that's next Wednesday, we start to move into some of these blue shaded colors, which looks really good. Even having a little bit of purple a little bit further south of us, which is anywhere from about 1/2 an inch to maybe 1.5 inches of precipitation falling. So things could be really good if we maintain this pattern that I just talked about with that moisture pushing in from the Gulf of Mexico. But again, these are monsoon type thunderstorms. It's going to be very hit and miss. So if one area of the fire sees a storm, could see 1/2 an inch, maybe more of rain. But 10 miles to the south of that, where we may have active fire going on, could see very little, if any, maybe a couple drops of rain. It all depends on where a storm sets up. So this is currently the best guess forecast, but again, it's going to be a daily thing of where the showers pop up and where it actually rains. So again, things are looking good. We are going to see daily thunderstorm activity, and it's fairly likely that we will see some thunderstorms and showers over the fire area at some point, just whether or not we get enough of that beneficial rain to start tampering things down a little bit. So we'll go lastly here into our fire weather planning matrix. Again, we use this here at the Incident Command Post to help give folks situational awareness of what we're forecasting for the weather and for today and even through for the next 5 to 6 days. So we talked about Wednesday today being, again, a hot, dry, and breezy day today. Thursday, we start to move some of that moisture in, a lot less red, more orange and yellow, but we're still expecting to be quite a bit dry tomorrow. As I mentioned, that moisture is mostly moving in at about 15,000 feet, not much here at the surface. So could see continued dry conditions, but not as dry as we've seen them tomorrow. And then all this green coming forward with that moisture keep on pushing in and bringing us higher humidities both day and night, more cloud cover, daily chances for showers and thunderstorms, cooler temperatures. We are going to maintain some of that wind, but all those things together hopefully will help moderate conditions of the fire at the very least. So things are looking good going forward, and we'll continue to bring you updates here on Facebook. So thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.